Ah, good morning. Good morning. Well, friends, it's good to see you. I have a new tech set up here, so I'm hoping that you can see and hear me okay. And I'm assuming you can, but just if the sound is very quiet or too quiet, so quiet that you can't adjust it enough from your side by just turning it up, then let me know and I can fiddle with something here. But I'm using this little lapel mic rather than the bigger one that I had before. So as I say, it's good to be here. Wherever you are, however you are, it's been well, I don't know how it's been for you this week, in whatever your personal circumstance are. It's so interesting the way we have our personal circumstance and then we have our sensitivity to the wider circumstances, the currents of life and the world, and whatever the way they may be affecting us. But I can well imagine that, like you, that like me, you may have just been sad, confused, angry, heartbroken, at and yet another war, and it's war is maybe the greatest of human tragedies. So much just abject suffering, violence, death that we inflict on each other. Just that. Just to let that in, before the politics and the sides. Just, oh man, the tragedy of war, the tragedy of human hatred, really. The tragedy of the way we're somehow able to separate ourselves out so much and so intensely and so far from the other, that the best kind of human relationship we can see in that moment is to destroy the other. And that's what seems like, the right and good thing to do. It seems to be the needful thing to do. Destroy the other as an individual, and we can see the seeds of that in our own mind, maybe in moments of anger or hurt or the wish for revenge, where doing harm in some ways to the other seems to be the thing that I need to do to make myself feel better. And how painful that is. And just think of any of the moments in your life where you felt the need to in some way lash out at or do violence upon or make the other experience some kind of pain, and how the contracted condition of the heart in that moment. And then to extrapolate that out to any war, any violence, any conflict. And then the more intense the scale of that, and the more intense the sense of, wish or need to destroy, the more painful that is. So, you whatever your own news sources are, and however much you choose to engage with the world news and situation, or sometimes one has no choice but to engage in it, depending on where you are in the world and what's going on socially, politically around you. So I don't want to get into that, but but just to acknowledge, it's heavy on the heart, the way we can be. And I say we because it's we're destroying ourselves. That's what war is. It's us doing violence upon ourselves, upon ourselves as humans, ourselves as living beings, ourselves as sharers of a planet. So, and I think that's the best way to avoid the getting pulled into the polarization of sides. It has a different flavor when we talk about what they're doing, what those ones are doing, and what those ones did to those ones, and what those ones are doing to those ones. It's like, oh, this is what we're doing to ourselves. Something kind of sobering about that, and heartbreaking about that, and also true about that. This is what we're doing to ourselves. And then we look around, at the ecological war, we could say, as well, and the economic war. The way all the different forms of oppression, and we say, oh, this is what we're doing to ourselves. So it's heavy on the heart, and yet it's a good kind of heaviness. We need to be heavy-hearted about the tragedies of life, and of course, there's no point being heavy-hearted to the point that we just feel despairing and hopeless. If you'd feel despairing and hopeless, and you might well, if you expose yourself to a lot of the news, you might well feel despairing and hopeless. But of course, you can't do anything. If you're just lost in despair and hopelessness, you can't do anything. So I very much understand why one might feel despairing and hopeless. And I would say if you feel despairing and hopeless, actually that's the moment to take your attention somewhere else. Feel despairing and hopeless, look for moments of beauty. Look for the way the sun shines on the autumn leaves. Look for that which is beautiful in the world, that which has a sense of harmony to it in the world. Now, of course, there's plenty of examples. If you look at the writings of somebody like Anne Frank or Etty Hillesum, both two very young women caught up in the horrors of the Second World War, and both rather kind of wise and deep in their capacity to point to beauty as a resource, not as denial, but as a resource, so that we're able to take in the heavy-heartedness of that which is painful in our own lives, in what we see around us, in the global situation, in a war. And we're able to take in and let that kind of tenderize our heart, and yet not just collapse into despair and hopelessness. Voila. So I just wanted, I felt like I couldn't begin the week without acknowledging the way it's been, the way that's been heavy on my heart the last week or so, particularly. All right. Having said all that, I'm glad you're here, as I say. And my idea for the week was to focus on spaciousness, different forms of spaciousness. Inner spaciousness, I could say the space inside experience, the space around experience, the infinitely spacious nature of awareness, the brilliant or knowing nature of awareness, and then the loving nature of awareness. So those are 5 kind of dimensions of space, you could say. And 5 days of the week, 5 dimensions of spaciousness. And given the what might be weigh heavily on the heart, it's very important to find the space within and around what's happening. So today, very simple, space within experience. And what's the experience? Just sitting here. This is our experience right now, right? Sitting here. Body sitting, body breathing. And whatever else is going on, you can include it. Heavy-heartedness, maybe, or whatever else is impacting from your personal circumstance. So we just come into the very basic sense of being here. Oh, sitting here, breathing, feeling like this. Feeling like this might be just feeling rather neutral, might be just feeling a little sleepy in the morning, might be feeling the impact of all we were just speaking about Might be something else. Might me that how I'm feeling this morning isn't particularly significant and doesn't need any particular attention. And then it can just be, body sitting, body breathing. But if the feeling life is activated in some way, just include that. Sitting here, breathing in and out, or feeling tender, or feeling sad, or whatever it is. That's the basic experience. And so this first dimension of space that we use this one, we use finding space within that. Face space, right? And I'm not the idea of space, but felt space. Space within breathing. Space within sensations. Space inside of the feeling of sitting here. So we'll sit together and I'll give a little orientation to that quality of spaciousness, the space inside experience as we sit together. Set up your posture and settle your attention. It means inviting your attention to come inside your experience, to enter into the feel of this breathing body. Attention suffusing the breath. Attention inside the sensations. Awareness pervading this breathing body. Awareness in each breath. Awareness opening up a sense of space. Breathing spaciously. Naturally. awareness inside the body of sensation. This dancing field of cellular life. Awareness opening up a sense of space. A space to be inside the breath, a space to be inside sensation. A space of intimacy, of absorption. Entering into this breathing body. Entering into the space of awareness. Orientating to the space inside experience. Relaxing into a spacious abiding. Relaxation reveals spaciousness. Relax your attention into this breathing body. Relax into the feel of sitting. Relax into the flow of breathing. Make this your sole intention. Just pouring your attention again and again into the feel of this breathing body. Whatever thoughts surface, however much they pull at your attention, however frequently you find that you've become distracted, however long you've been lost in some thought stream, doesn't matter. In the moment of noticing or of being reminded by my voice, re-enter the feel of this breathing body. Rest your attention into being here. Spacious awareness throughout the breath. Spacious awareness throughout the body field. Rest into the field of bodily sensation. Just again and again. Relax into the flow of breathing. Be spacious. Inside this immediate experience. Notice the relationship between relaxing and presence and space. When we're not present, we get tense, even very subtly. And tension reduces or obscures spaciousness. So to be present is to enter with attention, to enter into experience in a way that we relax from the inside. We open up and we taste. We relax into a sense of space. Breathing happens by itself. sensations come and go naturally. Nothing for us to do or undo, nothing to control or manage. Being here becomes a spacious abiding, a calm abiding. An easeful abiding. Here in the breath, here in this body. Last few minutes of the meditation. Just seeing if it's possible these last few minutes to relax a little more. To let everything happen by itself. To let yourself be the space inside experience. May we all know a spacious abiding. May we all know a deep space, a vast space in the heart. And may we all make space for each other. Just come to visit. Hey, hey. Look. All right. All right. So that was meditation. As I said before the sitting, this week we'll look at space in different ways, different dimensions of spaciousness. And there's a little time this morning if you have questions. When was I last here? Did I do a week last month? Yeah, I did a week last month in September. So I think it's 3 or 4 weeks since I've been here. Anyway, it's nice to be back. Just a little reminder of the magic of Sangha Live and how it all works, and the fact that everything's freely offered, and that it takes a lot for that to happen. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of technical complexity, there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of setting things up, there's a lot of producing graphics, there's accounting, there's just a lot that makes it possible to do this, and that a lot runs to many thousands of dollars a month of overheads for Sangha Live, and the only income Sangha Live has is yours, the dana that you offer. So there's a sense of dana being the engine of all of this, just like dana has been the engine of Dharma teachings and practices for a couple of thousand years and more. So a sense of offering, sharing, supporting. So that's the spirit in which this is happening, right? There's the spirit of offering, sharing, wishing to support you. And then there's the request, hey, please offer, share, support me and us and Sangha Live as a platform. So there's a link to that in the email you got, and George has just posted that link. And by clicking on that, you can offer and share and support. And even if there's just a few euros, depending on your wish and your circumstance and your possibility, your sharing, is beautiful. It's very much what makes this possible. And so please, in the moment of offering, just to connect to that sense of, that's what this is. It's not just making a donation. It's not just giving a few euros. It's participating in this sense of shared support, mutual support, offering to that which seems to us to be worthy of support. And there's a lot of beauty and goodness in that. So thank you. All right. As I say, there's a little time for questions. So if there's anything that feels like it would be helpful to speak about or ask about or explore this morning, you can just put questions into the chat, and please write question in capitals at the beginning so I can distinguish the questions from the general flow of your sweet messages to each other. No questions this morning. It's unusual, but sometimes it happens. Maybe you're just all feeling very spacious. Very spacious. Space in the heart. The space to digest, circumstances. Spaciousness. You might notice we were talking about the heavy-heartedness with the war, or with war in general, and the particular new and terrible expression of war happening in the Middle East, happening in Israel, Palestine. And you might just notice, how it might be different. It doesn't change the heavy-heartedness, right, that we might feel, but how does the relationship to it change when we just having sat quietly and cultivated a kind of spaciousness? It's interesting to know, that there can be space for whatever we're going through. Whatever we're going through isn't the whole truth of things. It's easier to meet, our personal circumstance or wider circumstance. Just it's not just easier. It's there's a truer, deeper current to our capacity to meet things when we're cultivating that sense of space. Like I say, space, presence, relaxation. They all go together. They're all even dimensions of the same essential way of being. All right, friends, so I think we'll leave it there today. Not seeing any questions. I will love you and wish you well and invite you to cultivate spacious abiding as you go through the day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Take care. See you tomorrow.